like a shameless plug
There's only one way to find
for
out.
money.
Do you play VA shafts?
You should. Everyone needs a good shaft.
Good shaft, baby.
I don't think you can handle these guys at 7 a.m. We're great at 7 a.m. I was.
You're not ready for me at 7 a.m., Tom
Whew.
Beatty.
Sean said if you couldn't handle him at his worst,
You can't have me at my best.
you don't deserve him.
Biatch.
You don't deserve him. It's Bean Lambs. What's up, my friend? I get more and more excited about your guitar. I've been harassing the old Fender Custom Shop to, send me all the final stuff we're waiting on. But anyways,
I think we should put out there too. There's a couple of DAP musics that I'm ready for you, Sean. I bet you
Ooh.
are. The big thing with the custom shop is sometimes we do have to wait, and it's unfortunate. Our hands are tied. I've talked to a couple of guys this week that I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I want to be able to call you and be like, hey, here it is.
You know, it used to be though, like we got the thing, the Traveler, and everything, bam, right away. But then it was like 2 years for your guitar.
Yes.
Now it's like a month for your Traveler.
The wait is almost longer for the Traveler.
And then it's like we give them the green light, and bam, your guitar's here. It's like I don't know what's happening. Which that's good. I will say this: when that guitar's like when the guitar, I can't talk. Apparently, I had a stroke today. When the guitars started coming that fast, I was like, oh god, they're gonna be like QC issues. You know what I mean? But they've been amazing and they've been fast, and that's good. That's a cool thing. So if you're waiting on a custom shop Traveler or a quote, just know that's been the way it is. So, but no, me and Bean Lambs have been working on one for a while. It's not just any one; it's a special one.
I heard it's something to do with an evil pumpkin.
There's maybe some evil. Don't give away all the secrets. With the Levi Perry.
I love that, man. You know, I want to give a little shout out to Levi real quick.
Let's talk about Levi.
Because what an awesome guy.
First off, I love Levi himself. He's a cool dude, but he's one of the best as far as like, Bean Lambs can tell you this, like actually being able to talk to dudes like on Instagram and stuff. It's so nice when the builder talks to the guy who's building the guitar. And I don't, obviously we're supposed to be the middleman, but
I want to also Derek's quotes down in the bottom are like perfect this morning. It's like a spot on real quick. That was fun. Levi Perry is the best. He is the best. I think.
He's the best.
If you asked me, Sean, you're getting a master build, who are you going to get it with? It'd be Levi Perry for the reasons you just pointed out, being communication, but also I just think he's got a good vibe about him. I love everybody else at the custom shop.
Here's the thing,
not
though,
knocking
right?
anybody. He's just a good dude.
Here's what a lot of people don't get. Like, all the guitars by the master builders are great guitars, right? Like, they're objectively very well built, good guitars. But so much of it is digging the vibe of the person, right? I mean, some of that is aesthetic, but I think beyond that, if you get to know them, or like like if you follow them enough on Instagram, you feel like you know them.
Yeah.
Levi's definitely towards the top of my list.
Yeah. I think if it would be really cool if we could do some interviews, a little more in-depth interviews with the master builders, so that you could see their personalities, because they all have a very unique personality. Like I feel like Yuri is very what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's somebody who is very sentimental. Like he takes a lot of care and pride in the work, and not that none of the other guys do. There's something special to him with that, To where Levi is very excited, and he's very exciting when he talks about guitars. He's pumped.
I see your Levi Perry. I just saw it. The Levi Perry is the best.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
quotes,
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like it's great, right?
Breaking, Levi Perry, the best.
The best. I like it.
Yeah, it is. But Mark says, don't let Carlos hear us say that. I think Carlos and Levi are pretty good friends. Plus, we can't count Carlos because he left the old custom shop. He's in the old.
He's in his own lane.
He's in his own little world.
He is a bad man. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you want to talk about to be as young as Carlos is, and to have the vision, the know-how, and the actual like finishing factor. Like, he can finish it. He does it. He gets to the end of that guitar.
That is true. I feel like that is true.
Yes.
Todd Roy. This is really funny. I was gonna say something, and now I forgot what it was. I was gonna say it and I forgot it. Oh. Here's a question. Here's a. You guys can weigh in. This is your chance to sway the future of casino content. Alex says Levi is the next Vincent Van Treat or JC, who I'm assuming is
JC Curley.
JC Curley. We've been talking about maybe, this is top secret, don't tell anybody, maybe reaching out to Vincent and having a little interview, like, hey, well, just talking about his time in the custom shop, being gone. Is he ever thinking about building guitars again, maybe? Would that be interesting, or do you not care? If you don't care, it's fine. Just tell us. But I thought that would be kind of interesting,
I think they would, I personally would just love to catch up with the man. The man, the myth, the legend.
Did Levi, someone said, let's see, Greg said, did Levi apprentice under Vincent? Is that true? I'm not sure if it is or not. I feel like he did more with...
he apprenticed under Dale.
Dale Wilson. Which he reminds me a little bit of Vincent as well.
Yes.
Like, I guess really is Vincent reminds me a bit of Dale. He just kind of took it.
No. I think he might have... Because I think the way that it went was Vincent apprenticed under John Cruz. Carlos apprenticed under Dale. Levi could have been under Dale, but I think there was somebody else he was under. I can't remember who it was now. Maybe it was Dale too, though. I swear it was somebody else.
Ron Thorne?
No.
We'll find out. We'll ask Levi.
We'll ask him. He'll say he's cool with that stuff.
Alex says he floated between all of them and John Cruz. I would imagine you get a little something from all of them, you know. But yeah, I mean there is definitely something that's sort of like a kindred thing between there. But it is, I mean, I don't know. It's got little vibes of it, but they are in person. It's quite a bit different, I think, the vibe of Levi's and of the Vincents. Not better or worse, just just different. Bean Lamb says that I was floated for everything. I think that kind of makes sense. Maybe that would be a good interview with somebody like Levi. Like, what was the road like to working for Fender to master builder? Some of those guys come in from the outside and they've already been building guitars and they're just bam, you're a master builder. But some of those guys like Carlos was one, and I think Levi were they're in the machine of Fender for quite a while.
And they just have like extraordinary talent that they're like, okay, no, this guy actually gives a damn. I know, I believe Levi had the same path as Carlos, where it was just like work in the factory.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which is cool. I dig that. That is still a possibility. Like, you can be the guy who sweeps the floors and then be the guy that's, in a way, top of the dog pile there.
I kind of like it. The mayor wants to know if that's a Charlie Christian.
It is not.
In the neck.
They call this a J-Blade pickup.
J-Blade!
It is made by Greenville Pickups. They're pretty cool. They're like a high output thing. It's not really my dig, but it's cool.
I love the pig guard of this guitar.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing about it.
Makes me think of Prince.
It does kind of make me think of Prince.
Yeah.
Speaking of Prince, I've been working on my Prince tribute set. I'm just kidding, I haven't. Do have a nice little Prince cover I've been working on. Greg says he's so damn lucky to have Vincent 62 Jazzmaster. Yes, you are. That's a killer guitar.
Is that Dylan's in the chat? That's who it is. He said, I think Sean should interview Leftover Salmon.
Is that a real thing?
It's a jam band. It's Dylan's band, actually.
Is it?
Yep.
Well, there you go. Then you absolutely should. Why wouldn't you?
His band.
Why wouldn't you? Hey, things change. People move on. I don't know.
Something stinks, and I want some.
Chad B says if we play Prince, he's going to dance to it. All right, done. The deal is done. William Robinson.
Why don't you play a little Red Corvette?
Johnny's got a Taylor acoustic over here. I actually want him to pop out. He's considering getting rid of it. He's written a lot of songs.
Oh, it's gone.
We used this whenever we were demoing, what was it? Avalon and, oh man, what's the other one called? I'm sorry, it completely slipped my mind.
Damned if I don't.
Damned if I don't.
For you guys, it would be the extra special live stream deal. I don't know what do you guys what's reasonable. This is a 324E.
$9,000.
$9,000.
Jonathan is playing it. Are you kidding me? Nah, I'm kidding.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe like for you guys, this is not for like for sale in the shop, but maybe around $1,000. That's kind of what I was thinking. Which I feel like is a pretty good deal. Because it's ready to roll. Like if you wanted a guitar that you wanted to be able to go out and play. I mean, it's been played. Chad B, I'll deliver it if you're in.
I believe what he's actually
the right
thinking,
spot.
autograph with it. You get a casino hat with it too.
The swag pack.
There's a little bit of swaggage. And pre-nocta, whatever I don't know.
Prima Nocta.
I don't know what that is. I'm illiterate. What's a prima nocta, boys?
That's like back in medieval times when like the king could come and like sleep with your wife the first night before you. That was like a horrible thing.
Oh.
Have you never watched friggin' Braveheart?
Nah, I ain't got time for that. Don't tell Baxter that though. He'll be crying. They're already trying to make me watch Les Miserables or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. It's a musical.
Les
I'm like,
Miserables
no way.
and zombies. No, Alex says he traded me a GS Mini. No, this is a good. This, if you notice, Mary Cheese says he likes how yellow the nut is. The nuts on these now are all black because they're V class. So this is right before V class. This is good old X bracing the way God intended. Part of me hates to sell this guitar, but it's time. I have to move on to other things and purchase a house, hopefully. So, and I find myself playing my little Martin all the time. Even though this guitar is really good. If I play it enough here, though, I'm going to be like, no, I don't want to sell it.
I know. We've had this conversation a few times, so if anybody could take it off of his hands, please spare us.
But it's a good guitar, for sure. But no, hit me up. I'll make you a deal if you want one. Todd says, and you will have it again. Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. But anyways, any good music news we're missing, boys? I've been seeing a lot of Old Music Is Win and Joe Bonamassa.
Derek Clifton put on his journeyman jacket again and sang Cocaine, but he was like, cocaine.
Yeah. Derek Clifton. That's good. What guitar is Sean playing there? Sean is playing an Echo Park. What's the name of that one? Is that a case study?
Yep, this is a case study with crazy walnut, aged walnut.
It's
kinda nuts.
crazy.
I got one that I've been courting at home, and I don't know if I'm gonna buy one of these, but I need a guitar with humbuckers in it. What do you guys think? You think I'd do a Schmecko Park? Or
There's a
Do I
few
do-
built guitars that have been catching his eye.
there's some builts out there that I've been thinking about. I've been ate up because since my SG's been broken, I've been like, man, I really need something that's...
What's the status of that? Like, you still waiting to talk to
Well,
Gibson?
So I talked to Dan about it, and Dan told me, he's like, man, you should just go to Gibson. He's like, they'll get the paint match and do all kinds of stuff there. So I'm like, I need to do that, but I'm also like hesitant. Like, I don't want to jump into that just yet. I don't know. I got to get it fixed. I know that, but I don't know. I've just been twiddling my damn thumbs. Had a crazy couple of weeks, too.
Mayor
so I'm
McChee says go all the way and get a Les Paul. If the mayor says it.
Well, I'll tell you, what gets me about a Les Paul, and I like them, and I will own one at some point, but what gets me about a Les Paul is right now it doesn't feel like the guitar. Like, if anything, what I don't care for about the Echo Parks, let's say this, trim, I want a hardtail, you know? So I'm leaning more towards something like this.
Yeah.
Now, there was a guy who had a 1968 SG with the Maestro. I mean, it was mint, dude. Like he was like, I've never really played it. I was
It
like,
looked brand new. If someone
like-
had said, hey, this is like a VOS custom shop, I would have believed it probably
Yes.
at a glance.
I mean, it's gorgeous. It was insanely good.
Which is kind of funny.
It is, but I'm thinking I need some SG action.
There's,
But I don't know.
I find the SG more and more sexy, and I've never been an SG person, but lately, we have an inexpensive SG next door that typically wouldn't be my jam because it's not the little Batwing pick guard, it's the full pick guard.
But big,
man, it plays
chunky
good.
neck, dude,
It's
too.
chunky neck, and it feels, like some SGs don't feel so stable, and it feels very stable. So if you need an SG, check it out. You want to borrow my RO with the collection pickups?
RO.
That's a great
Ro-Ro.
guitar. That is, if you haven't seen our Money for Nothing video on the members only, go check it out. That is featuring Chad B's RO. I'd play that. That's a great guitar, man. That's a killer guitar. And I usually am more of a 59 kind of guy, but it's a really good one.
Play your low E real quick.
Wow. There's a tuner. I got a tuner over there in my backpack too if you want one. But yeah, there's some talk about the old Bill Burr making fun of Guitar Center shoppers. He
That
said
was
if you
funny.
if you want to find the saddest old guys, go to Guitar
I
Center.
heard he's a drummer.
He is a
I guess
drummer.
so,
He's a
right?
pretty damn good drummer at that too.
I guess so. Apparently, Kiss is playing live again. Is this true, Derek?
Yeah, they're doing like a Kiss Storms Vegas.
I thought they were like having like little digital avatars and AI Kiss or something.
Yeah, what happened to that?
I don't know.
That was supposed to be the hottest thing ever. What the
I'll
hell?
put my feelers out to the Kiss team and see what the deal is.
They're like, we got so much backlash right off the cuff.
You guys don't know it, but Derek is a Kiss insider. He's
Did you
spent
guys
time.
know you can be a roadie with Gene Simmons and the Gene Simmons band?
That tour.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I wonder why. $12,000 to be a roadie with old fuck ass himself. Mr. Put my tongue in your old lady. Mr. Crack a peanut with that tongue. Dude, absolutely not. Forget about that. That'd
Who
be
knows?
lame.
For $12K, you can be Gene Simmons stage hand. Is Kiss at the Sphere? Are they
That's
going
what
to
I
the
mean,
Sphere?
yeah. For $12,000, that's what he was selling.
If they're playing the Sphere, that'd be pretty baller.
You listen. We got my old lady, as I like to call Christy, because it gets her riled up. We were at my daughter's like little birthday thing at her dance place that she takes dance lessons. They rented it out for like her little birthday party, and the girl teaching the class, right? And my wife and one of her friends, they're all obsessed with Harry Styles.
Yes.
And I guess there was going to be Harry Styles at the Sphere.
Hairy balls.
Whatever. And so I kind of started shit talking Harry Styles about how he probably got rid of it because he couldn't sell it at the Sphere. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but you talking about three ladies who got like riled up and defensive.
I mean-
I don't think Christy would defend me as adamantly and vehemently as she defended Harry Styles' honor
If
to be able to
you-
sell out the Sphere multiple nights.
Well, if you were going to see a band of the Sphere, I don't think there's been many bands that have played the Sphere yet that I am like, oh man, I just gotta see it. I'm like, why would I want to see?
Kiss would be awesome at the Sphere.
I could see that. There's enough
Kiss would work, right?
iconography.
And all the
you
old
know.
like metal,
Yes.
80s metal like cartoon
Yeah,
things.
I'm like, they
Um,
could do all kinds of stuff with that. You know, Kiss saves Christmas. You know, Chris saves Kissmas. All that though. I mean, that would be dope.
Yeah, I just I don't know, man. Yeah, who knows? Wouldn't it be great to get to the point where like you could pay to be people's roadie? People pay you to be your roadie. I take free roadies. I don't know though. Roadies always freak me out too though, because I don't like people carrying my stuff.
Yeah.
Look at it. The D-Man. The D-Man,
My mom
Logan, and Mama Numbers.
and my son.
I like it.
I like that. It's fun. I didn't know your mom went to that. That's dope. That's what I think is funny. I'm like, just that it changes the whole context of that night now, knowing that your mom was there too watching Kiss, because just her reaction to a lot of it would be fun to see.
Citizens of Melee says they paid over $15 for 2 Diet Cokes at the Sphere. That's not surprising. It sucks, but it's not surprising. Now, what do we think of as Guar at the Sphere?
Same thing with Kiss. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of iconography there.
Kiss has one of the best live shows
Yeah, well, that's where.
Scene with the pyro, and I don't know if you could do that, but
Yeah.
the visuals would probably be incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to say the least. I feel like that would be the most interesting band so far. Like, if somebody was like, oh, Kiss is doing the Sphere, I'd be like, okay, they can do a lot there. To where, like, whenever they're like, Fish, I'm like,
You have to do a lot of drugs to enjoy
that's
the
what I mean, you know?
It's
I'm
essentially a light show. I mean, I hate to say
Well,
that.
that's
but,
the thing. Like, same thing with the Eagles. I'm like, I love the Eagles, but I don't feel like that's the context I want to see them in. You know, like they were never known. They're not like Pink Floyd. You know, it's not like
where like it's a laser show.
you're like, whoa. You know?
I mean, because they're very much just kind of stand there and play band.
Yeah.
I mean,
Loitering.
I wouldn't have even wanted to necessarily see like a Tom Petty or something at the Sphere. Wouldn't have
No.
been, you know. Now Alex says the Sphere is a gimmick. Derek, have you been in the Sphere?
No.
No one here's been. I mean, I'd like to experience it, sort of, but I don't know. There's just some kind of, I don't know. What's it hold? 20,000 people?
Something like that.
Chad B says Elijah has been offered a football scholarship. But hey, if they want to give him a football scholarship, we'll be Wolfpack folks all the way. Forget UNC. You know, I don't know. Sean McKenzie says midget wrestling at the Sphere.
Who's the new Floyd? Says Jinrai.
I don't know if there is one.
There is a new Floyd. It is. And a lot of you are gonna be like, no, it's not. It's not the same. It's like in context, dude. Come on. Tame Impala. That's who I would consider the new Floyd. Like, you know, if you go and listen to Inner Speaker and Lonerism, and then Currents, you listen to those 3 records, you're gonna be like, damn. It's a cool transition.
I'd have to listen.
Yeah.
I don't have any context for that.
Well,
I
yeah.
feel like, I mean, like,
And to break it down in just genre base.
yeah.
Inner Speaker is like indie psych rock. So think about that first Pink Floyd record, you know?
Yep.
It gets trippy like that, where you can tell it's like they're learning what they're doing. Then, well, Kevin Parker's learning what he's doing. Then you go into the next one, and that's like a big rock record, you know? That's what I would consider more of like a Dark Side of the Moon. Massive, big psych rock record, really good front to back. Highly suggest you listen to it if you haven't. And then you get to Currents, and that's like probably closer to what The Wall would be. Like it's this complete idea and this complete vision, but nowhere near as long as The Wall is. The Wall is a hefty listen. I think we can all agree on that.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Does a band, like, can a band do a thing that, not mimics, but like follows the sort of, you know, has parallels to Pink Floyd? Are they still a new Pink Floyd if they don't have the same sort of relative popularity? Because maybe Tame Impala is more popular than I realized.
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty big.
Yeah. He's transferred over now to doing like productions for huge pop artists and stuff like that.
I mean, that's cool.
So,
you know,
it's neat. I think they have a huge presence. But what I'll also say too, though, is to answer your question as to what are the criteria for that. People said in the '90s that Radiohead was the Pink Floyd of that time frame.
I can sort of see it, kind of,
I think it is more so in what the band stands for and what they are pushing. Like, are they pushing the envelope of sounds and stuff that they're working within, and what that means to cultivate those sounds? I think that's more of what it is, less about like, well, how much guitar is on every song? Did they use delay?
Because I mean, he was just one part of.
Yes, one
Pink
part
Floyd.
of a big thing.
Now Ned says maybe bands aren't the best use of the Sphere, and I think that maybe there's something to that. Zactify says he feels bad for the people who sat through U2. I wouldn't want to see U2 at the Sphere, but I have seen U2 quite a while ago, and you know, pretty darn theatrical, and I enjoyed it a ton. Zoodalure says Fish's shows were amazing. The Sphere, no repeats over 4 shows. I mean, that is kind of cool. If you can play 4 shows and not repeat one thing, pretty badass. I'm into that. So, you know, but I tell you who I have been into lately, and they're not the new Pink Floyd, but it's the I've been listening to a lot of the Red Clay Strays. Dude,
it's good.
That stuff's good. It's just good songwriting. It's good. It's not like rocking most of it, but it's a few things are, but it's pretty awesome. And they got quite a large sort of window of like the kind of style of things that they do. Yeah. But it all still feels cohesive. And I like that a lot.
I agree with that.
A lot of cool slide on their stuff.
Yeah.
But just good songs, man.
They got a good variety to their sound, which I can appreciate.
I've been into it. Do you guys want to know a fun fact that I've come across? So I'll tell you. So Elijah bought himself a CD player at the Goodwill. $5, $4.99. because he's been super into music, right? And he has a little record player, listens to records, but he wanted something that he could just take stuff into his room. And we got this old giant tub in the attic of like 300 CDs. You know, they're just all the CDs I ever had, all the Christie's. So some of them are horrible. Some of them are fine. But there's a lot of like 90s stuff in there, right? Yeah. So he finds an old Matchbox 20 CD and he's become sort of obsessed with Matchbox. He's into Matchbox 20. Any of that stuff, like he's loving it right now. Yeah. Any of that 90s, kind of like
Hootie
that.
Blowfish,
Everclear, all that stuff, right? He's into it. But mostly he loves Rob Thomas. So he's been listening to all the Matchbox 20 albums because they're all in that tub, you know? Loves them. And he's obsessed that there are liner notes. Like that there's the little booklet. So
booklets are dope.
He's like,
he can read all the lyrics.
And then a few of them are like not the Matchbox 20, but they're deluxe versions. And so like he's really got stories and stuff in there. And it's like he's like, oh my God, you know. So he's into that, right? So he's digging all this stuff out, and he digs out I think it's the first Rob Thomas solo record, right? So he's looking at the book, and I pick up the book, and I'm like, it's neat. You know, you forget how cool that was when I was a kid. No, that was the Santana album.
Santana album, dude. Santana pop hit.
But anyway, so I'm reading this thing, and it's got the musicians listed for every track. Guess who the musicians are? Guess who the guitar players are, rather? Yep. Tommy Bukovac, little Uncle Larry, and Tim Pierce.
Whoa!
They're on so if there are, and Derek's gonna like this next part. So if there's one guitar player, it's Tom Bukovac. Yeah. If there's two, which most of them are, it's him and Tim Pierce. And if there's three, it's those two guys and Rusty Anderson.
Dude.
But I mean, like so that album has got arguably the two biggest studio guys, especially as far as being popular on YouTube. And so you don't think of a Rob Thomas solo record as a great guitar album. But so then I thought, man, this has got to be cool stuff. So I go back and I'm listening to the layers. It's pretty friggin' brilliant. You know what I mean? On songs that I never really cared about or appreciated at all.
Yeah.
But it's kind of neat. And I didn't realize that those guys had worked together like that or done much together. So I thought that was kind of neat. So
that's such a weird
it's
Matrix
thing. It's an odd Matrix. It's like Rob Thomas and Tim Pierce and Tom Bukovac. But it's very cool. It's very like kind of understated like guitar layering brilliance when you listen to it. That I would have never cared about. But that's the joy of liner notes.
Care to love.
Can you play that guitar and sneeze all over? Yes.
Yeah, you can.
There's actually a little blood inside of this one too. It's a long story, but it's a little bit.
Do you know what guitar is all about?
Yeah. So you know.
It's about wearing white gloves, keeping it in a glass case, never touching it, pretending like it exists. Look at it, it's beautiful. Couldn't you imagine if you could play it?
Magic Man says, I'm sad that Wolfgang Van Halen doesn't get any run on the radio because it's pay to play only. I also just feel like, I don't know, we're kind of like the stuff he does is not really what's on the radio right now. Not really.
Yeah, no. I mean, and also like,
who cares about the radio anymore?
Yeah, I was going to say, if my music was played on the radio, I'd kind of feel like, oh, shit. Like I messed up.
Ned says he saw Matchbox 20 a while ago and was super impressed by Kyle Cook. Listen, I think the Matchbox 20 songs, I will unashamedly say that I love the old Matchbox 20 stuff. So, you know. We've all been listening to Tim and Tom forever. That is so true, right? Isn't that funny that we don't know, but we have?
We don't
And
know,
I kind of think
but we do
it's
know.
wonderful. It's kind of wonderful. You know. Jonathan, can we use your blood to clone a new Jonathan? Maybe. That would be kind of nice.
Be nice.
I would use one Jonathan to sit here and just build custom shops, and then I would just go play guitar all day.
Hang out. It would be fun.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know the difference.
It's like the plot to Multiplicity.
Do you know one of my like most core memories of playing live, right? Is this is back in the day in Charleston. I played this place called, I can't remember. It was on, if you're familiar with Charleston, it's on Folly Road, like James Island, like going to Folly Beach on the left. And I think it's called like the Oasis at one point. It had another name too. Anyways, this decent sized little like bigger than like a bar, like a little club, you know? And this guy was coming through, and I forgot, I don't even remember how I got to open for him. But he was a solo acoustic act. He was playing a show. Yep. I was opening, just playing acoustic. And this, I was very early on in this, playing all original songs. probably was horrible. But I just remember
Come
talking about blood on
on.
the guitar. So I'm sitting there, I'm playing my songs as open set. No one is giving two shits about anything that
Yeah.
I'm doing, right? But there's these goth guys. Remember goth guys? You know, and they have like it all black and like the chokers and all that stuff. And like they're at the bar, right? And I'm playing my song, and all of a sudden, those dudes come over and stand right in front of me. And they're looking at my guitar, and I'm like, I must be crushing it, you know? So I'm trying to play like my band. It's just me playing and singing, right? So I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm crushing it, right? Well, the song before they came over, I had dropped my pick, and it was like a heavy strum thing, so I kept strumming, then I put my pick. Well, what I didn't realize is that I had cut like basically the end of my key. You know how when you do something to
Just
your finger
right.
like that, you don't notice it
You
until
don't feel it, yeah.
until later, right?
But it bleeds a lot too.
Well, so I'm sitting there strumming away. These guys are looking at me, and I'm in my brain because I'm thinking about like now I'm thinking, why are they looking at me? You know what I mean? And so all of a sudden I'm picking, and my pick is sticking to the strings. Well, dude, I had cut my finger so much that every time I was going bam, it was just splashing blood all in front of the guitar. My strings were covered in blood. And so I'm just, it's now to the point where it started to congeal and it's sticky and it was disgusting. So I literally had to be like, I'm sorry, and take a break and run to the bathroom and wash it off. And wash off my hand. And now my hand is like aching because I've seen it. I'm like, ah.
It's weird how a guitar plus blood always makes like a sticky mess.
A
Like it's
sticky, well, because you're hitting it. But these guys were, that's what I think they were just like, oh my God, blood. Yeah. So like, you know, of course the goth guys wanted to come see the blood. But that will forever be ingrained in my
This
brain.
is so metal.
And that guitar, I almost couldn't sell it when it came time because I was like, oh, it's kind of neat that I had blood splash. Like I cleaned all this, but inside on the little, you know, the little sticker, it was a Tacoma guitar. I mean, of all things. But anyways, it was kind of that was kind of fun.
It sounds like if you wanted some of Johnny with you always, not only if you got this guitar, would you have it, but you would really have it.
And that wasn't his guitar, but similar thing happened to this guitar. Chad B says, I hope you did a restring. That was back in the day when I never did restrings. I didn't know. Toyota should make guitars, but Tacoma, it was a Tacoma mini jumbo, fully Koa. I don't know why I wanted that guitar, but I did. Yeah, but you know. The Mighty Woodrow says he has a similar experience, but instead of blood, it was Rumpelmints. The guy spilled on me at ODs. Same thing. Maybe even better.
The next thing I knew, it was sticky all over. There's power in the blood, says Carol Love. There is power in the blood.
Power, one working power. Yeah, I know all those old songs. You know, I'm afraid to hear about other scenarios where DNA ended up splattered on your guitar. Yeah, we can't. This is a family-ish show.
Ugh, what's wrong with y'all? Sick. He's sick, dude.
What are you gonna do? Liam says he has too many stories that start with Rumpelmints and end with shame. Rumpelmints always seems like such a good idea, and then it just, in my experience,
Granville
typically
Helm
goes
said,
downhill.
the amount of Jameson I've spilled on my Les Paul is not okay.
I think about that sometimes. You know what's filthy? If you're like me, if you got an okay to medium to larger size pedal board, that you drag to clubs and bars and outdoor stages, and then you really start looking at it, and the junk you spilled on it. Pedals are filthy. I remember our buddy Tontuga, Michael.
Oh yeah, he's like, how do they get dirty?
I would send him pedals back to work on. He's like, God, you're filthy. How does this happen? And you at the beginning were like, yeah, man, this is filthy. And then you started gigging, and
I
you're
was like, oh,
no,
you just get like
it's so nasty.
It's two things. It's dust. And then the moisture and beer.
Moisture and sticky alcohol.
It's like
sugar.
all that
it's
combines,
sugar from alcohol.
and it just cakes up over time.
And it's nasty.
It is nasty.
And when you start to see like the little the switches just like rusted out on the bottom because you know they have, and I mean
the screws.
The screws
on the back. They yeah.
I had a gig in Charlotte one time where like it was this big like cancer walk thing, and we were playing. And it just, out of nowhere, man, clear blue skies and then just torrential downpour. And my pedal board, the stage was standing in water. And I mean, you know, that day, those guys that were running that stage, they had the top lowered down and then had fans on everything within like minutes. and it saved everything. There was a bass player was playing like a vintage Marshall head, like we all had tube amps, we're all pedal boards, and not one thing was messed. They got it dried out and the fan on it
That's
so
pretty
quickly.
badass.
I wish I knew who those guys were so I could give them a shout out because it was a thing of like.
Because that isn't always how it goes.
Sorry, you guys are,
The sound guy's done left. Somehow he packed up before you could even get packed up, and he's gone. You're like, what the hell?
How did this happen? No, yeah, man, no, that's bad. But yeah, it was good. It was so good that day. But no, if you start looking too much at your pedal board, you're like, oh, this is disgusting. Especially if it's one you use. I mean, if you keep it in your house or you keep it in the studio, maybe not. But mine are all disgusting. And it makes me a little sad. Greg says he takes apart and cleans his pedal board a few times a year and dust and spot cleaner almost every week. You almost gotta do. I've started doing that to try not to be so filthy, dust and spot clean. But yeah, taking it apart is helpful. I just hate taking mine. I hate it. I hate it, especially when I get it to a place where it's good. That's why I almost hate like new pedals sometimes, right? Because I'm just like. Then I got to read it because I have everything.
I got to fit a tremolo on my board for this thing Friday, and I'm like,
what you gonna use?
I don't know yet. I gotta find I don't think I have a decent tremolo pedal, which is bizarre.
You want to take one of those MD200s?
I got the slicer.
Oh, that'll work.
Yeah,
that'll
be perfect. I'll put it on there. I'll put it where that harmonist pedal is because
what amp are you gonna play?
I don't know. I might play Marla. I'm like.
Okay, well you don't have tremolo in that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, but.
I don't know. Part of me wants a little Silverface Princeton just to have to kick around because I like those so much and like they're fun.
And you got cool trim.
You just throw it away. It's got reverb, it's got trim, it does all the things.
You know what, man? Like that's why I think the Flint is so great for like amps with no reverb and you get tremolo. Or like that little what's the Keeley one? Someone knows what the Keeley one is.
The Terraform?
Nah, there's that's Wampler, but there's a Keeley one that's just reverb and trim to put at the end, and it's kind of awesome. But I can't think of the name of it. Jen Rice says, hand vacuum, wet wipes, Mr. Clean, Magic Eraser. All those things are great for pedals. The Magic Eraser will take the paint off some of the pedals, though, I think. But the other thing that's great is the little, like, the compressed air. It just gets expensive.
Yeah.
But they make those little goo things that are for, like, your car dash to press on, and then you pull it out with a little dirt. That works great on your pedals. It's not that big a deal. If you know all the settings on all your pedals, and you don't care about moving the knobs, they're relatively easy to clean. But if you don't want to move the knobs...
Yeah.
The Zoma. That's it. That's it. Worthwhile Media. Thank you.
Huff and Duster, baby. How'd you know, Ned? How'd you know what I got up to this weekend?
Huff and Duster.
It is funny whenever they ask for your ID.
I mean, what are you going to do?
I got a 69 PR I might sell Sean. What is a PR? Can get Paul Reed Smith, right?
Paul Reed.
Oh, before the Smith.
That was his maiden name. This was before he got married.
Ah.
Paul Reed. A Princeton reverb. That's what a PR is.
Oh, that's brilliant.
A 69 Princeton reverb. I mean, I know our pal Alex is jonesing for an old Princeton.
Dude, I found a couple for him that I was like, dude, these are sick. The problem is he's down in Puerto Rico. Or he's Costa Rica. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do it. God, that's hard on this guitar. Too heavy of strings. Too heavy.
Bell bottom blues.
Cheese pizza.
Me cry.
Man, it is almost lunchtime. It's kind of getting there. I was already thinking about it. Tom says the Ryobi inflator deflator works great as an air duster. I actually was looking. I think I need to buy myself. I think it's time I become a man and have a decent air compressor at home.
Isn't that a weird thought to have? Like, I've been there. I was talking to Skylar the other day.
You're about to enter your manly tool phase in your life where you gotta start collecting
Well,
shit.
I got a table saw, and I got a badass table that my stepdad and wonderful mom got me for my birthday. That I'm like, shit. Because they know that I've been digging into, like, wanting to make shit and do stuff. And we got a bunch of screen printing stuff in our garage. When we get a house, I'm already like, damn, I want a massive workshop. I want to be able to just do crazy shit.
I'm having the desire for that. This is actually a good thing. So, like, usually if I'm using that kind of stuff, I'm at my dad's farm where we have all those sort of random tools. You just have to go find them. You know what I mean? And like, beat the rust off them. And then, like, my grandfather on my mom's side, always has been a carpenter, done things with his hands, got all the tools. And usually I'm at one of those two places. But there are times when I'm home and I'm like,
You're
oh,
just like, I wish I
I need to
had
do this thing, you know,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, dang it.
There's just
I
fun
need to have it.
tools to have too. Like imagine if you had like one of those badass Milwaukee nail guns. Like immediately you're like, oh, I can use
Build
it in million
things all the
Do
time.
shit just like, hey, watch this, bang, bang, bang.
Nah,
You know?
Tom says, dang Tom, I would have taken that compressor. I mean, like I said, there are compressors around. They're just none of them live at my house. There's this one that rides on the back of my dad's little farm truck because all of the farm trucks always have flat tires. Because that's just how farm trucks are. But you know, yeah, no, Greg McFadden's right. Hit up the pawn shop for tools.
Alex Holden said, Matt on the water, hit him up on that PR, dude. Princeton Reverb.
Ooh.
Go hit him up.
Ooh.
Because I'll be honest, I think I'm just going to get like one of the reissues because I don't mind having one of the custom Princetons. I'm like, I'll play the hell out of it.
If you don't want to spend the money on an old one,
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. I would love a vintage amp. But
the 68 customs,
I think they kick, dude.
they
love that.
sound stupidly good. And they sound stupidly good with no pedals.
Yep.
Just cranked, and you can crank them, and you can control it all from your guitar, and you can just do it.
That's right.
You know, which is awesome.
That's right. That's right, it is.
You know, it
Chad
just
B
is.
distracted me. He said, so a guy can never have enough tools and guitars? That's true. Growing up, you know, you and I are very similar with this. There was just always shops full of you ever just need, like, just tell yourself, I need a couple of pickle forks in case I need to damn pry some apart, you know? Maybe I get in there, I wanted to knock out some ball joints one day, you know what I mean? It's like, shit like that goes through my head. I want a bunch of files. I like hand scraper tools, like wood tools that you can, like, carve
You know
wood.
what I want? A dry ice thing that, like, sandblast with dry ice.
Sandblast with
Ooh.
dry ice? That would be cool.
That would be pretty cool.
You can do any, you can go into the car and sandblast.
Dude.
It leaves no mess.
I didn't know
Dry
that.
ice evaporates.
Oh, that's cool. Then you ain't got to worry about the mess of like a sandblaster, because that's a whole thing. You got to clean up all that damn sand.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
That is cool. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I like it. I love that everyone on here has got their tool buying tips. I feel like we're in the right place. Jack Stowe's talking about the powder blaster. That's right. I will say, boys, I did see Derek's car last night. The project car.
Oh, did he drive it to the Rooster?
No. I went to Derek's castle.
Well,
His home.
shit.
His castle.
I wish I would have went over and saw it then. Damn. I hated he couldn't make it out last night.
It was all right.
Me and Chelsea were working. We were listening back to songs and stuff too.
How's that going?
It's good. Good. We rehearsed last
Feeling
night.
pumped about the
Oh,
gig
yeah. No worries.
on
Yeah.
Friday.
We went and had some fun with them last night. And it's all fun enough, you know. And then
Is she still doing like the same kind of flavor? Like Chelsea's a friend of ours. Awesome. She's just a great musician. She's a great drummer. She's a great singer, bass player, guitar player. But she does this thing where she does kind of like cool rock songs in sort of like a jazz lounge kind of thing, and it's really fun.
it is cool.
Is
Yeah.
that kind of the deal? Is that still the same?
It seems to be pretty close, like bossa nova meets
yeah.
you know, jazzy thing. But it's kind of fun because it opens up what I can play on guitar. It's not so much like just bluesy or rock stuff. It's like I can have some fun. I like to play little faux mandolin parts and stuff like that over it, and swelly things, and
That's cool.
give a little country flair here and there. It's fun. There's a lot of options and opportunity there.
Let's see. Sean Mark says if you want to build a guitar, Texas Toast has the tools and the classes. We've actually talked with them about maybe going to do the class, which would be really fun.
could be cool.
And Sean's been doing a lot of stuff with our pal Dan Dinkins, getting some learning.
Going out
Some
there
learning.
Thursday, hanging out with Dan this Thursday night. We'll get some action in.
Matt on the water says Psionic Audio just did a full workup on, I'm assuming, on the Princeton, which is kind of cool because I sometimes watch the Psionic Audio YouTube channel.
That's sick.
Stuart R says, how long until it's normal to have a CNC and a 3D printer as standard tools? I think the 3D printer for sure.
I think we're pretty close.
I know a lot of people now who have 3D printers.
I know a fair amount of people who have a CNC of some sort, you know? I mean, not
At
a
least the
ton.
small ones, you
Yeah,
know?
but like enough that you're like, it's kind of weird and interesting. You're like, oh, shit. You just have a CNC at home. They're like, yeah, I took out a mortgage. I'm like, oh.
I mean, they're getting cheaper though, right? You can get this little small one, not commercial grade or anything, but like, you know,
Couple grand.
get a little CNC router kind of thing for, you know, some stuff.
Yeah.
Steve says you can get a good air compressor at Harbor Freight that can run tools for about the price of a Squire. I mean, do you guys do that? I do. Like when I'm making purchases like that, I do always comp it. Like in my brain, it's how many of X guitar, you know. Like, man, that's a custom shop, or man, that's a friggin', you know.
I do the same.
An Epiphone, or that's a.
Yeah, it stopped
It's
me
an
from a
American
lot
Pro
of-
too. I know
yeah,
it's
a lot of
it's
things.
kind of bad.
It's like I want more tattoos, and then I'm like,
kinda bad.
yeah, but that's a guitar. That solves my humbucker problem, you know. I'm like, can't do all that.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Affinity or classic vibe? Oh yeah, for how much? Because it's quite a difference. You know. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Homegrown Son says he beats the crap out of Harbor Freight tools, and they just keep going. I feel like some of the Harbor Freight stuff is pretty great.
Good. It actually will last longer than the one-time use. I think, you know.
Sometimes I feel like they've gotten better, right? I've actually got some of the the yard stuff from Harbor Freight, like the blower and the little weed eater and
Working
the
out
little
pretty good,
head
though?
shower. I mean, hey, knock on wood.
Man.
I mean, Mary McCheese is right to buy once, cry once, but I'm crying over the Harbor Freight prices half the time, so you know.
Imagine
that's a whole different scenario.
You get somewhere that you're like, damn it.
We're just humble guitar store workers. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I mean, yeah, if we could do high-end posters or high-end tools, that would be nice. Sadly, like I said, I have to rely on the old family. But yeah. Man on the Water says Lyle at Psionic Audio was great to work with. That's cool. That's cool to know. Because sometimes he can be a little. You wonder if he's maybe a little prickly from his videos.
Prickly?
Or I do. A little prickly. A little opinionated. Which you want your guy to be knowledgeable, right? So I couldn't decide if he would be fun in person or not.
I think...
the old 19... What is that? What year is that? 41 Martin? Against the 2014 Taylor?
Yes.
Tom says Lyle is great, just doesn't BS. Yeah, no, I'm all about that. You just never know. You just never know. Ned is right about the batteries to power tools. You got to pick your team.
Here's what I think. Milwaukee, crushing it. Milwaukee's battery powered tools are pretty damn badass. Like, they're good and bad to the bone. Go to an Ace Hardware and look at that Milwaukee wall, and you'll be like,
they are
damn,
sexy.
dude.
They're very good.
Now, I grew up with pneumatic tools, air tools, right? But they've all gone to the Milwaukee stuff too, and I've got a bunch of it at home. I'm like, man, this stuff's good.
The Milwaukee stuff's pretty sexy.
I'm batteried up, which is unfortunate because, man, there's something nice about an air tool that just, it gets nice and cold when you're using it in the summertime. You're like, woo! You know, you're like, yeah.
That's hardcore when you got actually air powered tools. You know, what are you gonna do?
You ever try Benson? You mean like a Benson amp?
An Echo Rec.
Oh, okay, B-I-N-S, I should have known, yeah. I have not been able to play one in person, but I've seen them in person. Most of the time when people have those, they're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay.
I didn't know if he was talking about, you know.
Yeah, well, I was like, a Benson amp? Is it dealing with power tools? Is there a Benson tool company? Is it the Echo Rec? You know, I'm like, there's too many Bensons.
I was gonna say, when I think Benson, I think Echo Rec. You know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Let's see, Derek, anything else crazy in the old guitar YouTube world?
Not really.
What are our thoughts on car amps? We hate them. No, I'm just kidding. They're great amps, man. We are a car dealer, actually. Seriously, Baxter has been asking Steve to be a dealer for years because he loves the amps. But there was another shop in North Carolina they had an exclusive deal with. So we finally became a dealer, I don't know, 5-6 months ago, something like that.
And he's been awesome the whole time. His factory is sick.
Factory's cool. They're right down the road from us, but man, if you don't need crazy high wattage, I'd say they're one of the best out there. The Mercury is awesome. The Telstar is my favorite, probably. That Skylark Deluxe is amazing. You know, when we finally ever get
the Mercury V is dope. If you want something that rips,
they're all good, man. They're all good. I mean, I really like the Super B. The hard part would be picking which one. I feel like that would be one of those things. If I got into it, I would suddenly want every model, and that would be very disruptive in my life. But I think if I had to pick just one, I'd go Telstar. What would yours be?
Same.
I think Baxter leans towards the Mercury V or whatever it's called. But man, yeah, Benford. It's Benford Tools is what he's talking about. Benson is the home improvement tool time. Tim the Toolman Taylor.
I think it's Benford is what they're saying though. Is that is the actual name of it? They thought it was Benson, but it's Benford.
All right. Tom is saying though that it was Benson on that old TV show. Maybe it was. I don't know.
But then
Benford. Yeah. Oh yeah. Chad B says Telstar, support your position, please. It's just to me, it's just a neat voicing. It's a little different. It's not totally Fender. It's not totally Marshall. You get a great dirty channel or sound, not channel. You get a great like fat clean. I like that lean and lush mode for like humbuckers versus single coils. You can really kind of decide, do you want a big fat sound? Do you want a more like biting sound?
Yeah.
The reverb sounds fantastic on it. I like that it's kind of got its own character. I don't know. When I sit down and play it, it's just the one that inspires me the most to just sit and play. So yeah, that's the deal.
The Telstar too, just to give you maybe a push over the edge here, is the idea for them. For one, you can swap out the singular power tube,
which I think is cool.
Which is really neat. It can be a 6L6, a 6V6, or an EL34. The other thing is the idea was at lower volumes, it is cleaner and an American sound, and then as you turn it up and you crank it, it gets British.
It gets Britishy.
So I think it's really cool. I hear that too whenever I'm playing it, that I'm like, damn, that's kind of neat.
I think that could be one of those things where like, you know, like I said, if I didn't need a crazy high headroom thing and I just need one amp, I think I could do pretty much everything I like to do with that. And I could almost do it with 0 pedals and be super. Like I can sit and play that guitar or that amp and be inspired with no pedals, no pedal board.
Straight up.
You know?
I agree. Tom said he's weighing out car versus Port City. I personally think I like cars more. That's just me. Not throwing shade, not trying to be mean to Daniel. He makes great stuff too. But
Daniel's
I like that.
Great, you know.
And then my second pick would be Marlowe, but I have an affinity for Anthony anyway, so. Once again, just my opinion. Don't take this personal if you're watching, Daniel, because you make a good amp as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's Alex said North Carolina has a lot of good amp builders, and they really do. Fried Tater says, how about the Skylark? Skylark's great. It's just a little more like a really good Princeton, you know, kind of deal. So if that's your deal, then do it.
I like the Super B. Super B's cool.
Why not? Let's see. I'm still interested in the Magnetone Starlight Reverb. Yeah, those are cool. I think we probably have some of those at some point. I don't know when.
I think we got
when
some.
They're coming. We're waiting on some Magnetone stuff. Waiting on something for the good old feel button. But anyways, all good stuff. New Bad Cat Cub V is pretty sweet too. The Bad Cat stuff is cool. I can't believe that Mark Sampson, like we just saw Mark Sampson at NAMM, so it was crazy to see that he passed away.
I didn't know he passed away. Damn.
He passed away. That's been a week or two ago. I think it was pretty unexpectedly.
I've been out of the loop.
So
I gotta wake up, guys. I've been
wake up.
out of it.
Shake it off. Homegrown Son wants to know any opinion on Mesa under new ownership since you have visited headquarters of Gibson. Seems like the Mesa stuff is still great.
Yeah. I don't feel like I've really seen it change. If anything, I might like them more, and I don't know why. I don't think anything's really changed. I mean, I
think you feel that way because they're leaning into like the Fillmore amps and like the California, the blonde, tweed stuff. Instead, and leaning a little away from like the Mark stuff that maybe we don't get into as much, or like rectifier stuff. You know
I
what
got
mean?
a quadruple rectifier here.
Because listen, all that whole Fillmore line of maces are great, and I would play those all day long.
Yes.
Um,
I think
you know.
the what is it? Not the Texas twang. What do they call that thing? It's supposed to be like
Which one?
their Stevie Ray Vaughan inspired amp. Someone called. We've had one in the shop.
The Mesa, the Lone Star.
Yeah, the Lone Star.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, Lone Star is great. Lone Star and the Lone Star Special. Todd Roy says, how noisy are pedals with tubes? Do you mean pedals with tubes in them or pedals into tube amps? Because both can be very noisy, but they can be really quiet too. You know what? I am constantly shocked, right? Like, so when I go out and play with Robbie, it's often in like church settings, you know, because he's a like a CCM worship kind of songwriter. And you know, I guess everybody in that is doing direct stuff, and I'm always bringing a little amp, and they're always shocked that it is not noisy. You know, like they're like, man, it's dead silent and it sounds amazing, and I'm like, well, yeah, but you know, it's just finding the right amp and finding the little brown box I take with me. I think helps a ton.
I think this is me maybe being a little crazy. I think hand-wired amps are quieter than PCB amps. Now, here's my point for saying this. If you've been following me on the Instagrams, I got in a very special Marla that's top secret. Shh, it's a secret. It's really cool how dirty the amp is and how silent it is. Whenever I go, like I can go like, and it's silent, dude.
Right.
I'm like, man, I'm excited for that. That's gonna be awesome live. Cause I love having like absolute silence at moments where he's like,
Absolutely silent.
and then
Not
it
a.
comes back. Yeah.
That's rock and roll. You gotta lean into it. You gotta lean into the hiss.
I
No,
lean
you do.
into it,
You do.
you know, but it is like.
Well, that's why you gotta get in the habit of turning your volume off when you're not playing on your guitar. And if you got like 3 gain pedals on or like a fuzz, turn it off when you're not playing. But Alex says to Mark Stanton, get a Baby M80 and put a reverb pedal in the loop. Johnny put me onto that. Listen, there's not many better amp sounds out there than that. And maybe you're like, I don't want a Baby M80, but Baby M80 is ridiculously good sounding, and that is about all you need is a little reverb pedal in the loop. And I like to run my Baby M80 cleanish, just fat and clean, edge break up, and then push it over with little boosty type pedals, and man, it's good. And yeah, anything you want. And if you do it that way, you don't even have to put the reverb in the loop. You can put it right into the front of the amp. But you know, whatever you want to do. Okay, Todd Roy says, yes, pedals with tubes in them. I don't think I've had much issues. I mean, I've only ever tried a few pedals with tubes in them. I've never like been crazy into that, down that rabbit hole. But I can't think.
Me neither.
I've never. In fact, when I used to play for a band called Riverbend Reunion, and the other guitar player had this really cool pedal with like a preamp thing with tubes in it that he ran into his third power amps or what he was using, and it wasn't noisy at all. So. You know, I don't think that's a huge issue if everything's right. You know, if everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Tom says, I just like saying Baby M80.
Baby.
I did, you know. I do think it's fun that Baby is actually officially part of the name. But, man, it's killer. Killer amp.
It is a killer amp. Unfortunately.
And it's a killer recording amp. Are you going to, like, you
I
know.
gotta go so we can do our job. It's been great hanging with you guys. Listen, next week I'm gonna show up with a little bit more energy. I know I've been low key for a moment now. It's been a month of reflection. Give me some
A
reflection.
lot of calls from the health department.
A lot of calls from the health department, real bad. I feel like speaking directly into the mic like this makes you guys feel like it's more intimate, you know? Can you really get the pulsives? But yeah, so I'll be back up and running. Sean gave up having fun for Lent. I did. I really did. I cut out a lot of fun.
What's fun? What's fun?
Seriously, what is fun?
It's all just exhaustion and dread, existential dread.
We're gonna get out of the existential dread here soon enough.
You speak
But
for yourself.
it's good though, you know. Like I was listening back to 7 songs last night. I'm like, okay, you gotta get serious every once in a while, and it sucks. That's right.
Were they 7 of your songs?
7 of my songs. So, we're on a path now. Let's see what happens.
Me and you, I think we're parallel in that right now because I got a pretty darn, maybe the best original set I've had in quite a long time.
I think it
if
sounds
I
pretty damn
do
good.
say so. And I was telling Derek, it's all sort of coming together. And I don't know if this is maybe true for you too. I'm gonna need some suggestions of like festivals near you guys. Now let's be realistic, realistic festivals that old Johnny and possibly old Sean that we could maybe get into because I'm gonna be ready to hit it hard here soon.
I would say realistic festivals that are probably East Coast to Middle America, roughly. Things that we could drive.
I mean,
to.
listen, if it's something across the country and it's worth it and I can string it together, we'll do it. Like if you want to, if you got something and then like maybe you guys help me put some house shows or something together. We'll go to wherever.
I think
I'm sort of ready. I'm ready to do it.
What would be really cool, and we should riff on this idea, is the idea of doing. We've talked about doing a duo thing, just in town a little bit, like just messing around. If we wanted to tighten up some sets and go and play some shows, and just like hit the road and do like a back and forth of singing and playing, because I know, you're a badass. You could easily play on top of my stuff and kill it, but I'll have to talk about that and see, because all my stuff right now is really loud. I'm like, I don't know how I'd be able to do that. Get raw on the road with Johnny Rob.
I think it's a really good exercise if you write songs the way you do to go and try to play them acoustic and just sing them.
That's what
and see if they hold up, or like how you change them to make them hold up like that.
That's what I really want to try.
And I don't necessarily think that every song has to be able to do just you and acoustic guitar, but it's nice to have some that do that way.
Well,
that you can do.
Yeah, I think it shows what the actual power of the song is versus what the production value of the song is.
Yes.
There's a big difference there. If you can play the song on its own and you still feel it, it's like cool. But we'll talk about that. We'll figure something out. That'd be pretty cool. John Washburn said 27 is pretty old.
It's pretty old.
I don't think so. I don't think there's really an old age. I think whenever you start saying like, oh, I'm so old, that's whenever you're like giving up. It's like, come on, put your damn big girl panties on, dude. Go to work. I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's what I am.
I'm sick and tired of it.
All right.
And I'm not going to take it.
Let me run next door so nobody... 27 is veal. That seems a little sexual.
No. It just means you've been in the dark for your whole life, and now you're about to be slaughtered for a delicacy meat. No big deal. It is tasty. No. What are you going to do?
Let me run next door.
What are you going to do?
You close them out.
I'm going to close them out. Don't you worry. I'm going to close them out. Mark's right. You're only as old as you feel.
Bingo. I like
You're
that.
only as old as you feel.
Take your microphone off, Sean?
Yeah.
You loser.
You think I'm an amateur?
Yep. I've been wearing mine over the last few days. I better plug my computer in since Sean's gone. So now we can. I'll even slide to the middle for you guys. Oh God, amateur hour. Moving the table. Don't hate me, Derek. We're here. I don't know. What should we do? Let's see. Any more unboxing lives coming? Man, we can do some more unboxing lives. We've got a few things we could do. We'll try to maybe save some up, because that was like we got all those guitars that same day, was why we did it last time. But if we save some up, I think we could do some more unboxing. The unboxings are fun, just because we get to go through all that stuff as well. And we don't do fake unboxings where we look at them and then we're seeing them with you guys. And I don't know if anyone does. I'm not trying to say anyone does fake unboxings, but just saying. Zoot says now we can talk behind Sean's back. This is true. Although I feel like we can make fun of Sean here or behind his back. It's fine. Mayor says he doesn't feel old, but his arthritis does. I do feel like I'm starting to get a little bit of the arthritis-y things happening sometimes. There's little stretches that used to feel just fine that don't feel as fine now when I play them. But what are you going to do? Jonathan, do you know how to go about copywriting and putting out original songs that you've recorded? Why, yes. Yes, I do. Listen, I'm going to tell you straight, and some of you may not believe me. When you put out your song, if you record your songs, just sign up through something like DistroKid. CD Baby does it as well. I'm sure there's other ones. DistroKid's what I use. They'll let you put it out on every streaming platform. Now you can go through your process of like sending the songs in, to the actual copyright office and paying to do that. You can do the old thing people used to do, where they like seal a copy and send it themselves and don't open it, so it's like postmarked. Don't do any of those things. You just don't have to. The copyright is implied as soon as you write it. Everything these days has a digital timestamp. No one's stealing your song. I promise. It's not that. If it was that easy just to steal your song and go make it a hit, it would just happen all the time, and it's just not. So put your song out there. Once you put it out, once you put it out on Spotify, on Apple Music, on YouTube, it's yours, and you can prove it. Don't worry about it. Don't stress on that part of it. I promise. I promise. So, just put it out there. But like I said, for my money, DistroKid's pretty darn good. I've been happy with them. I've been using them for a while, and it's good. And then if you don't want to put it on the streaming services, if you don't care about that, put it out on YouTube. Put it out on YouTube. Do a lyric video or whatever with it, and it's out there, and it's yours. So yeah, but don't stress on the. I see people will get so stressed out about not playing their stuff because it's not copyrighted, and I just promise. I promise. And I'm a big fan of like intellectual property. Like it's yours. People shouldn't steal it. But they're not. Not in the way that they're going to take your song. Now, I don't care if you copyright it or not. You cannot stop people from being inspired or making like derivative things of your work. Do you know what I mean? Like the only thing that I think can do that is if you do blow up and you're huge. But the chances in the reality are slim. Maybe Derek has a different take because he's worked in that field. I've done a lot in that sphere as far as learning about songwriting and your copyright and who has publishing rights and your songwriter rights and all that stuff. But Mayor McCheese, what do you mean you got to protect it? Like, how would you protect it? Like, what do you need to protect? Now, we're not talking, it's a little different if you create something like a patent. But I promise you, if you put a song out, you'll copyright it. You'll register the copyright when you need to. Like if you get to the point where but I mean, if you put it out and you register it through BMI, because if you're going to put out your song and get royalties, you have to have BMI or ASCAP. You have to be pretty much registered with a PRO if you're going to get those kind of royalties. Same thing. It's copyrighted. It's protected. So yeah, you got to have it protected. But I promise if you put it out like that, it pretty much is. And God, if somebody makes enough money and flat out steals your song and you get to go sue them, that'd be awesome. I wish somebody would steal my song, Derek, and sell like 1 billion copies and make,
making any money off the songs.
I'm just saying, so like, it's once you put it out there, it for all intents and purposes these days is protected. But anyways, that's just been my experience with that part of it. Why aren't HSS custom shop strats more readily available? The humbucker allows the strat to be more versatile and is by far my preference. I don't think it's everybody's preference though. You can get one all day long. Like you can spec one. There's some out there. The custom shop goes through phases. They go through trends. And about, I don't know, maybe, God, it's probably been 10 years ago, I saw a ton of them like just coming out from the custom shop. They don't do as many now, but I think people are swinging towards the traditional, not relics even, like Deluxe Closet Classic, maybe even NOS, but definitely Closet Classic, Journeyman. And that's just the trend right now because I think a lot of people like that traditional like 2 and 4 position. I dig a humbucker in a strat, like just for versatility, but there is also something about just playing a strat with a single coil. But you can absolutely spec them, no problem. For whatever reason, they're not the trendy thing right now. That's all. Yeah, Mailer McChee says the boilerplate cease and desist letter on file and sending that off anytime you're made aware of IP infringement is all you need to protect yourself long term. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? I doubt you'd ever even, on a song, man, I would be shocked if you ever had to do that. But yes, that's good advice, Mayor. Happy Lamb says the evil pumpkin. Yeah. See, like, to me, that's a killer, sort of HSS rock machine, almost into the super strat kind of territory. And a lot of people love that HSS thing. But I tell you what, as much as I have always thought that I hated bridge pickups on strats, I find myself more and more playing my bridge pickup, and I've got fat 60s in mine. With the tone, I've got it where the second tone knob is just the bridge pickup. Turn that down about halfway with the gain for solos and stuff on the bridge pickup. Actually sounds pretty amazing if you got it set at the right height and all that kind of stuff. Now, Mayor McCheese brings up a great point. He says USA is one thing, protecting your IP internationally is another. Most countries have to abide by certain trade agreements, but not all our laws. Very, very true. Let's see. Nathan Killinger says, I feel like that no matter what I write for music, that it seems it's been somewhat done already. Not so much lyric-wise, but more so like with chord progressions, rhythms, etc., unless you play jazz. I mean, yeah, man, there's only, most people are working with 4 chords. The 1, 4, the 5, and the 6. Or, if you're going the other, like maybe the 1, the 4, and the flat 7. That's most. I mean, you get into progressive stuff with more chords. You can always borrow chords. You can do jazzy things, like you said. But I guarantee you, it has been done, and that's okay. Like, as long as you find the right groove and you don't copy like a straight melody line. I hear songs all the time on the radio though, or like streaming, where I immediately hear like a little melody and think, oh, that's in this song. And it is, but it's, they're not ripping it off. I mean, sometimes I think you write things because you're just influenced. Something's in your brain. You don't even realize that you're kind of using a piece of a melody. But if you're not straight ripping it off, and of course, if you're not just like being an ass and intentionally ripping something off, I mean, there are great examples even of songs that become hits that the original artist says, wow, this is really close to my song. And then the artist says, oh God, it is. Like a good example is Sam Smith and Tom Petty with I Won't Back Down. Like when he put out that Stay With Me, they were like, wow, this is really close to I Won't Back Down. And I think they amicably came to an agreement. And he gave old Tom Petty, I think, and maybe Mike Campbell, if he's a writer on there, some royalties, like a small percentage. So, I wouldn't worry about that too much. Just put out songs, man. Write songs and put them out. That is, if there's anything I have learned about writing songs, it's you just got to do it, and then you just got to put them out. Hobo Roadie says, I'm not losing sleep over my songs getting pirated in Timbuktu. Who's the guy who had the, Derek, you'll know this guy's name. What's the guy who, turns out he was crazy famous in that, spot in, was it Africa or somewhere?
Oh, yeah.
Like he
Netflix documentary.
Yeah, he'd had a career and it kind of didn't go anywhere, and he thought he didn't have any hits, and then it turns out he's like an ultra superstar in this little place. Kind of awesome. Could you get the custom shop to do something weird like route a left-handed body for a right-handed trim system? Yes, you could, but it will cost you. It would have to be a master built. Absolutely, they would do that, but it'd be master built. So you're talking about an extra $3,700 right off the bat before any other cost, just to be master built. But they would do it and do it really, really well. But that kind of stuff, man, they'll do. They will definitely make your visions come to life. But if it's that far out of sort of the norm of something, it's almost definitely going to have to be a master build. But I mean, they've done things like us. Like we took a P-bass body and essentially made it a kind of a telly, electric guitar, big P-bass body. I forget what the neck was. I feel like it was a reverse headstock or something. We've done all sorts of weird things like that. So yes, you absolutely could. You just got to pay for it. There's a company in Ontario called McNelly Pickups, and they get rave reviews. Not sure if I've heard great things about the McNelly Pickups, but I've never gotten to try them. in person. I think I'm about to try some new pickups. I like the Sanchez pickup in my Telly, but it's very Telly-ish, which maybe is great. But I've got our dear friend Kevin Walsh left me a Twisted Telly Bridge pickup that I might try. But what I'm really jonesing for, because I played them before and I like them, is a Lawler specialty to put in the bridge in my Telly. So I'll let you guys know if I end up trying that. I might throw the old throw the Twisted Telly in there just to see, because I've as many Twisted Telly neck pickups as I've played. I don't know if I've ever played the whole set and spent any time with it. So could be kind of neat. Could be cool. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Homegrown Sun says Von Scope pickups are now my pickup of choice. Another company that you hear amazing things about their pickups. So you can't go wrong with that. Somebody said there was another one. Evalonia said 51 Nocaster all the way. I love those pickups. That's what I had in the bridge of my Telly until I kind of basically sweated it out after years of abuse. But those are a great pickup set. Can't go wrong with that, especially in the bridge of your Telly. I missed who was looking for pickups. But anyways, there you go. Ha! Ned says, listening back to my old songs, it's amazing how much I ripped off whatever I was listening to a lot of the time. I mean, man, I think that's everybody. I'll tell you what, I don't know if you guys, like Baxter hates the Counting Crows. I love the Counting Crows. It's probably just a prerogative when I was born and listening to the music, but Rick Beato just did the interview with Adam Duritz, the singer, and he said this ridiculously profound thing. He said they had a new band, and they were all like great musicians, you know? And he said that they had gotten stuck in doing things that were good because they were good, like someone else had done them. And he's like, when you become good, you have to kind of get rid of thinking that the things that have been done before are what's good and find the thing that you are uniquely good at. He puts it a lot better than that, but it's one of the best parts of that interview. Man, if you go and if you don't want to listen to any other part of that interview, that part is actually worth hearing him talk about. Jenner says August and Everything After is a killer record. That's my favorite one too. They talked a lot about the second one, about recovering the satellites in the interview. But honestly, I enjoyed them all. I enjoyed that one too. But yeah, August and Everything After was kind of amazing. Jealous Again is, yes, the wrong Crows, but also, hey, it might be a Black Crows Day. I'm repping a little Black Crows. I love the Black Crows. Todd said he loved the Twisted Telly set in his Telly. So yeah, we'll try him out. What's the pickups in that Caballo Telly? Those were TV Jones sort of Filtertron kind of deals. Counting Crows was the other band on the bill, and I saw Matchbox 20. Yeah, there you go. I saw Counting Crows at the House of Blues in Myrtle Beach, God, a long time ago, like maybe 2000 and like early 2000s, and I thought they were pretty good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I know a lot of people's critique is that he doesn't sing the same melodies live all the time, because he's a pretty artsy kind of improvise it. I love that. Some people don't, but I thought the show was pretty amazing. You know, the Feel Button's waiting on Fishman Rare Earth pickups. That'd be pretty cool. I think the Fishman, the Fluence pickups and stuff, I've been sort of impressed with, and I did not expect to be. So, the Storytellers, Counting Crows, pretty fantastic. But yeah, there you go. But yeah, watch even if you think you don't like Counting Crows, I'd say watch that interview. It was a really good one. It was a really good look into and talking about like the copywriting stuff, man. Like he goes pretty deep into like how they ended up getting signed and what that all looked like for them back in that time period, like in LA. And I found that very interesting and intriguing. I don't know the music, but Dan Vickery had a KLM Rotosim on his board, and that was a good call. Yeah, that's true. Those are killer things. Casino Crew needs to come to Music Fest. Maybe we will. Maybe we will, to hang with our pal, the mayor. Yeah, I think that would be kind of fun. Sooner or later, it's going to work out. Evalonius says, shout out to Derek. Derek makes it all happen. But I think that's about it, fellas. It's time for lunch. Remember, if you want a tailor, hit me up. Call the shop. Ask for me. I'll make you a deal on this here tailor that happens to belong to me. What's my favorite non-standard telly neck pickup? I mean, God, you can almost put anything in a telly neck and it'd be awesome. I really do like the twisted telly, but also like a good old, like just an antiquity or some kind of similar humbucker in a telly neck. But yeah. All right, you guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell. We'll see you next time.